John Lilygreen and the Islanders, and Life Looks Better in Spring. That's the song which will represent Cyprus at the 2010 Eurovision Song Contest. And here in this very building on Saturday night, the winner was chosen. He's not in Cyprus anymore, though. He's in Newport Gwent. Good evening, John.
How's it going, mate? You all right?
I'm fine. Did you make a quick escape or something?
Oh, well, unfortunately, we would have loved to have stuck around, but, you know what it's like with the things, mate. It's like as soon as this day has come first serve, you've got to get out there, mate. You've got to get out of Dodge.
Yeah.
But it was a shame, really. I mean, the thing was, we would have loved to have stuck around and had a bit of a celebratory thing, you know, but... you know, as soon as we were, like, called for the winners and stuff like that, it was just, like, you know, didn't have time to even sit down and have a beer, you know? It was a sad, sad moment for me. It really was.
I tell you what, I was watching on the television and I looked at your face and the camera was panning. I mean, you looked absolutely shell-shocked. You looked as if you couldn't believe it.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, I think that the five of us, we all went out there, you know, just kind of with... you know, we just kind of went out there just to have a bit of fun, really, you know what I mean? Because we knew that there was celebrities involved, you know, guys from X Factor, guys who was pretty much signed with record labels and stuff, you know? So to us, it was like, oh, well, nobody's really going to sort of take us really seriously. So, you know, let's just enjoy the moment and, you know, let's see how much fun we can have during the week, you know?
Okay, so it's only been 4 days or so since you won it, and it's all got a little bit topsy-turvy since then. I mean, you've noticed it straight away, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, as soon as we got in, and it was like, more or less, the Facebook, you know, as soon as I had all my friends saying, you absolute legend. I didn't really know how to take that one. So, you know, they were all like, oh, my God, you won Eurovision for Cyprus. You know, it was just like, well, yeah, I didn't see that one coming either, mate, you know, but...
So you've got to explain this to us, because I'm not too familiar with how this happened, and everybody here was going, yes, John, it really is from Wales, so what is the Cyprus connection?
Well, basically, it's the songwriter, Nassos Lambrianadis. He basically, he wrote the song. It was very basic, you know, I mean, very, like, sort of, like, I don't know, like a piano in the background, I guess, with like a female and male vocal, you know, and it was nothing polished at all. So, of course, Gold Disc Productions, John Gregory and Sylvia, his wife, they basically managed to get hold of this really rough recording, and they obviously, you know, Nassos was like, oh, would you please sort of help make it into a professional song, and they did. They got me involved on the main vocal line, and they sent it back to Nassos with no more intention, just to kind of, just to kind of help by with the self-employment thing and just make a bit of money off it. But you know, next thing we know, want to come to Cyprus for Eurovision.
Wow! So how long was the period of time? Was it like it was sitting in the can for a while, and then you got a phone call from out of the blue?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, it was more or less through email. You know, I mean, once I sort of sang on the track, that was it. Then I mean, for me, it was just another day as a session musician. You know, just kind of singing another track for someone else. But you know, to get an email back saying, you know, this guy, he's really interested in getting us over to Cyprus because he's entered it for the Eurovision in Cyprus. It was like, well, you can't turn that down. You can't say no to that, can you, really?
Now, tell us a little bit about yourself, because, I mean, since Saturday night, the record's being played on virtually every station in the country. Everybody's talking about the entry here. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, what are you up to? What do you do? I mean, are you a professional musician, or are you a dabbler, or...
I'd say professional, very loosely, of course. But, you know, I like that. I think that's how I make my living, to be honest. You know, I mean, I play music either, like, on, like, you know, a sort of fun thing to do, just with friends, or, of course, like, kind of doing, like, the function band thing with John Oliver. That's, like, my kind of bread and butter, basically. But, you know, even things in between, like, sort of helping people sort of with session vocals or guitar, you know, like, with depping and stuff in, like, the music kind of business, you know, like, say, for example, like a function gig and things like that. If someone needs a guitarist or a vocalist, you know, if I'm lucky enough to kind of get involved in stuff like that. So that's kind of like how I get by. But, you know, I started playing when I was about 15 years old, and, you know, I've been singing since I was quite young. But, you know, until I started playing guitar, it wasn't really, I found where I really wanted to go with it all. So, you know, just a young lad from Newport, just trying to make his way in the music business, you know, bit by bit. But
so,
that's pretty...
the Eurovision, I mean, are you a Eurovision fan? Is this something you followed over the years? Or, I mean, have you ever actually sat there on a Saturday night and watched the whole thing through?
Well, I gotta be honest, mate. I mean, you know, there is a slight sort of stigma about, you know, with like the sort of UK thing. I mean, Eurovision, in a sort of sense, it can be sort of considered as like, to some people it's a bit of like not really to be taken very seriously. But going to Cyprus and seeing how much they really, they put their heart and their souls into it, you know what I mean? Because it is a very big deal for Cyprus. So for us to go there and see just how much, they really sort of looked at it, I was just thinking, well, okay, this is a different ball game now. We're not here to sort of take the mick. We're here to represent the country who really want to do well in this particular field. And I think for us to get the opportunity to sort of get out there and promote it in Oslo, I mean, well, that's it. There's no sort of fun and games about there anymore. I consider it to be, this is it now. We're here to represent Cyprus, so let's just give it 110%. Let's go out there, all guns blazing, amigo.
Excellent. Now, Eurovision's been the launch pad for many people's careers. They've gone on to superstardom from it. I suppose for the next few months, it's going to be a lot of rehearsals for you guys.
Well, I'd say so. I mean, it's only the one song in particular, and I'd say, like, we're down with that song, like, so much. It's unreal. I mean, we've performed it to the guts now, you know what I mean? So we're confident we can play that song backwards to forwards without instruments and just vocals if we had to, But as far as travelling goes and promoting the song, that's going to be a different story, We're going to have to sort of start looking at, like, ways to fund the trip and kind of get around different parts of Europe just to kind of, really show the song off and show people in Europe, like, watch out, because we're going to be representing Cyprus. So
what do people in Wales make of a boy from Newport representing the Republic of Cyprus at Eurovision with 500 million viewers? I mean, has it made the news over there in Wales?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, as soon as we set foot, there was like a few phone calls from like local newspaper, and then there was the BBC got involved, and then ITV, there has been quite a bit of interest, I must admit, but I'm all taking it in my stride at the moment, because I know it was like I was the sort of singer, but I'm thinking, well, this isn't just me, this is everybody else who's involved. We've all got a lot to sort of gain from this sort of experience, so I'm just trying to sort of make it more of a team thing rather than a solo thing. I think that's the most important thing to me, especially. But, as far as the Wales crowd goes, I mean, my mum was absolutely delighted, It was the kind of thing, as soon as you ring her up, she just gives it like, ah!
Fantastic.
That really loud, sweet.
Have you got a tape of the show to play to her?
Have I, sorry, got what?
Have you got a tape of the programme on Saturday you can play to her?
Oh yeah, well she's seen it on the old YouTube thing,
Oh,
so
fantastic. Okay.
she was absolutely delighted with that. But she's a bit, she's a bit out of touch with the old technology. So my sister had to do the honours of showing her the clips on YouTube, and of course my dad had the old the father thing rather than the old screaming motherly thing. It was just a case of well done, boy, well done.
Yeah, you know what? He probably went in the kitchen and was jumping up and down, I bet.
Yeah, but try not to show it off too much, But he's proud. I know it.
Well, listen, while we've been talking, I've just added you as a friend on Facebook, so there we are. So we'll keep up to date with you. And do you know when you're next in Cyprus?